Today I'm joined by Hannah Connolley from Couture Events Worldwide, leading wedding and event planners, and DJ Moochi. We're going to be exploring luxury weddings in Dubai, from sustainability and competition to unforgettable moments and planning challenges. Please introduce yourself, Hannah, and then DJ Moochi.
So yeah, that was a really nice introduction. I'm Hannah. I'm the owner of Couture Events Worldwide. We do specialise in all different types of events within the luxury space of the market. So anything from a wedding to a birthday party, anniversary, all the way through to working with, massive global brands. So yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm Moochi. So I'm an open format DJ specialising in private events and celebrations as well as weddings. Been DJing almost 20 years now. I'm an open format DJ, call myself a musical alchemist.
Lovely, welcome to you both. So I've got some questions, let's dive in. Weddings in Dubai are known for extravagance. Is sustainability possible in the luxury wedding world?
You're probably looking at me.
One of you, both of you.
I think that being honest, and I'm going to give you the honest answer because we get asked this question a lot, and it's very difficult to be fully sustainable, especially in the luxury market. Because for us, if we're doing an event, whether it be a wedding or a corporate, generally it's big structures, big builds, there's endless carpets, endless florals, and it's very difficult to have a fully sustainable wedding. It's not to say it's not impossible. It's definitely possible. You can, if you want to go to great lengths, you can literally find out how much carbon emissions you're, putting out, and then you can offset that by doing all different types of things. So it's not to say that it's impossible, but it does become a huge cost. And it's very expensive to be fully sustainable. Now, if you're doing something smaller, like for us, we try, if we're having, like, for example, a 3-day event, then we try and reuse and repurpose. That's a really good start. Try and repurpose some of the florals. But I can't lie, it's very difficult. It's a very difficult industry, especially in the luxury side, that to make it fully sustainable. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree, especially with... weddings, for example, is everything's bespoke most of the time, right? And especially when you've got these big grand structures. So, the hardest part would obviously be finding sustainable materials that are robust enough to, stand up all day by itself, etc. I think the biggest part people can sort of push on is maybe the catering side, looking at reducing the carbon emission in the menu. Maybe reusing part of the florals throughout the day. So, reusing some of the daytime event florals, using that in a reception, for example. There's all these tiny bits, but I think it's impossible, like Hannah said already, to try and make a fully sustainable wedding at a luxury level. But there's ways to try and reduce the carbon footprint and at least level out.
Yes. As a stationer running Ananya Cards, I've kind of... trying to see how I can include stationery, include sustainability, obviously very conscious that my business revolves around paper. So I plant trees for every stationery order. So that's something that I plant in the name of the couple or in the name of the corporate. So that's my way to kind of protect the environment. And also it's my gift also to the couple. So I do that. I try, certainly in the UK, all my cardstock was from sustainably managed forests. I try and do the same here. And I have lots of paper merchants that have sent me samples and things. And I'm trying to use UAE materials rather than importing them from Europe. So I think as a business owner, there's also kind of ways that we can do that. There's seeded paper, for example. There's soy inks. So I think there are ways to do it, but I think like 100% sustainability is more of a challenge, doable, but more of a challenge
and more expensive.
Yes, exactly. and that's Hannah, that's so true. Yeah. And I ask my couples, is sustainability important to you? And often they'll be like, no, or yes. And then when I give them the sustainable option, they're like, actually, you know what? It's fine. So budget does definitely play a part.
Absolutely.
Yes. Another question. Is the wedding industry in Dubai too crowded? Are vendors struggling to stand out? Or is competition driving innovation?
Well, I'll tell you something for free. Dubai is too crowded, full stop. Like, please stop coming.
Habibi, come to Dubai.
We hate the traffic. Look, I think that, it's a very busy city now, right? There's a lot of people, there's a lot of new planners that come all the time. Every year I always hear when we start the season that there's somebody new. And I find that quite exciting, actually. I think that it's really nice that there's, people that love our industry and that it's an interesting industry to join. And I think that it's great to have healthy competition. I think that the people who struggle with and would answer and be like, yes, full, and it's too much, and people who really maybe don't have their own identity within their business and they've not created a really strong niche and a really strong, brand for themselves, because you have to think, why would somebody want to use like Couture Events? Why would somebody want to use you as their DJ in comparison to somebody else? What are you offering them that someone else isn't offering them? Why do they like you more than they like the other person? And that's the important question. Of course, every industry, especially a fun industry like the wedding industry, is going to be really busy and it's going to be really crowded, but it's about how you, your distinction compared to other people.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, everything she just said. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's also like, it's not necessarily competition, right? Like, I had this conversation with someone the other day and I said it's more of a filter, right? It's the more people that come in, it acts as a sieve. And it means that those bottom end inquiries that you might be getting or might have to entertain to get busy, you're now sieving those out. And now you've got more top weddings to, get busy with, more luxury weddings. So, the more people that come in, the more luxury weddings and events in general will happen. It starts increasing and the whole industry starts elevating, whilst the newbies and people that's just coming in can also get set up at the same time with the smaller events, right? Yeah. So it's good for everybody, and it just means the industry gets bigger. And then the second part is what people forget is no matter how good you are at something, people buy people ultimately, right?
So true.
And it's important for you to channel that voice in your brand somehow. Like you said, why are they coming to you for a certain reason? It's not necessarily about what you do, but maybe the value you bring personally to your brand or your team's ethics and morals, etc.
Completely agree.
Definitely, that's where your values come in, your experience, all of that. I completely agree with you. Although I would say that one thing I've found in stationery is that by having newcomers come in, and also I run a branding and marketing consultancy, is that a lot of the newcomers, and I don't know if you found that, have kind of are trying to push the price down. And I have had couples say to me, oh, but so-and-so are charging this amount. And I know that the print cost is not even going to cover what they've said. So I was like, that's fine. But you know what? I've been doing this for 20 years. My branding business, 25 years. So I know that if there's a problem on the day or something, I will have the stationery ready for you. I know the whole logistics. I know about print processes. Once I say the price, that price is going to stay. It's not going to suddenly jump up to run the business. So I think there's also that education piece, because if a couple, it's their first time getting married, they don't know. They see one quote versus another. And I think that's our job as founders to explain our worth. Yes, you look at our social media, you look at our marketing material, but actually look at our experience, because 20 years does definitely give us a strong advantage.
There's always going to be someone cheaper than you.
Always.
And, I've literally had to sit down with brides before and be like, what you are asking me is impossible. I don't know how. We had it was a really awkward experience, actually, where we'd signed a client and the budget had got confirmed. And they started going around and shop. We were already their planner at this point, and they started going around shopping with certain things. And I guess I need to be a bit careful what I say, but they came to us and they were like, oh, we've received this quote. And I'm like, it's impossible. I wouldn't even be able to do it at that cost price. Wow. It's impossible. Yeah. And in the end, I was so concerned about what their wedding was going to look like. I was like, I'm more than happy for you to go with that, but I'm going to pull back as the planner. And we did do that. And it was the right decision.
I agree. And I think also we want the couple to have the best. And if we're not the right couple, we're not the right supplier for that couple because of budget or mindset or just their theme, I think it's the right thing to do. Not everyone would walk away, but I think it is the right thing to do what you did.
100%.
It's so important to be the right fit, when you're a supplier and a client. It's so important to be the right fit.
Have you had anyone ask you for music that you're just like, it's not going to work, or I don't want to play this?
I've got to be careful what I say that. I call myself an open format DJ, so I can't really answer that. Taylor Swift. No. But,
How dare you?
No, I think that as an open format DJ, I play everything and anything. Doesn't matter what genre it is. It doesn't matter what language they're singing in. Right? It makes no difference. I curate the vibes for the whole event, and it doesn't matter what I'm playing. But where a problem like that might come up is when a client gives you a playlist, and it's like, well, what am I there for? If you're giving me a playlist to play, just stick that from your phone, play Spotify, leave it running the whole night. But it's not going to do any justice to your event. And giving a whole playlist to a DJ and expecting him to play that or her play that for the whole evening, it's not going to work. We're there to read the room, read the energy, take people on a musical journey, do a build up, etc. And that's our job. But when people say, look, here's a playlist, here's 200, 300 songs, I want to hear all of them on the night, it's just as bad as giving a bad song request.
But on that topic, I actually really dislike as a planner when a DJ asks for a playlist. Because I'm like, if you're a good DJ, you are there to read the room and you are there to... Yeah, I think it's important because when you've got, like, especially with two different cultures coming together, maybe there's a couple of songs that mean something to the family so that's fine. But to send a full playlist to me or to ask for it, for me, completely defeats the object of having a DJ there in the first place.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I say to my clients, give a playlist, but I don't expect a playlist. I say, give me more of inspiration to put your top 15 songs, right? To put your top 15, 20 songs, which look on Spotify takes a matter of 2-3 minutes. That way I get an idea of what sort of vibe you like, what's your favorite, so I can include more of that in the event. But it doesn't mean I'm only going to play that on the event because you might have 30, 40 people come from one part of the world and 20, 30 people from another. And, you're two different cultures and two different heritages. So my job is to then use what you've given me as a sort of vibe inspiration, but also read the people in the room and add that to create one big playlist myself.
And similarly, I've had couples who have given me the design in Canva and said, "Oh, we want this," and then they're like, "Well, why are you charging so high?" And I was like, "Well, actually, I'm going to give you something bespoke because if you're going to go down Canva. You don't need somebody that's 20 years in, but I have that.
Wow,
I have that like regularly.
That's insane.
Yes. Yeah."
You should become a printer then.
I know, and exactly. That's why, and I do also get requests for print only, and I said no. You come to me for the value add, for the stationery, for understanding what you want. That's your personal statement, and to create everything for you. Yeah, exactly. So, what's the wildest thing you've ever witnessed at a wedding or event in the UAE that you can say on this podcast?
As a planner, you go first.
I have so many. The worst, the one that when I tell people that shocks them the most is this story. So this is by the way a very long time ago. It's when I was very, very inexperienced at the time, and we signed this wedding that was one of the first bigger ones that I'd done in my career. So I was really excited to sign it. And I met the mother of the groom was the one who was paying and planning. And I just got the impression throughout the process that she just really didn't like the bride. And she wanted to do everything in her power to just really upset her. And now, if that client walked through my door now, I would say, I'm really sorry, I'm not the right planner for you. But at the time, I really didn't have that experience. And a couple of examples, what she did. So first of all, we had to create a fake layout because there was 200 spaces for the bride's family and 200 for the groom's family. But she'd invited 400 from her side and the bride had invited 200. And it made the whole seating part really, really complicated because we had to give a fake layout to the bride and her family, and then she had the real layout, even though it was kind of free seating, but there were certain tables that were designated to the families. But on top of that, the venue was also too small to have 600 people comfortably fit in it. They did fit, but there was these massive, like, how do I describe it? Like big trees that were kind of in the middle of the venue, and we had to put tables behind those, and you couldn't move them because they were too heavy. So she'd put all these tables behind these big boulders and trees where they had no view of the stage. And then she sat all of the bride's family in those seats who couldn't see the bride for the whole night. But the whole story got worse because I really, really, really disliked this woman in the end, because I mean it was very intentful, you know, is that a word, intentful? Yeah.
Works.
You know what I'm saying?
Works for us.
And she turned up in a ball gown, a white ball gown, a white ball gown, which effectively looked like a wedding dress. And she turned up, but not just her, she dressed her husband in white, her daughter-in-law in white, her son in white, and the other son in white. They all came as a white party. So there was effectively two white ball gowns, and then the bride. And I remember going over to the bride and saying, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "No." She's like, "Can you imagine? I have to live with this woman afterwards." And I can tell the full story now because it was a long time ago. So it's very unlikely they would watch this, but let's hope. But yeah, and honestly, now with a huge amount more experience, we're talking over 10 years ago, right? I would never, ever, ever allow that to happen now. It's just so against my morals. I would outright say, we're not doing a fake layout. That's not okay. And again, like the other wedding, I would have pulled out, honestly. But I was just a little bit inexperienced at the time. But that's the wildest story that I can give you.
That is wild.
That is great. I don't think I can top that.
Oh, come on. You've had lots of drunk people at your wedding, I'm sure.
That's a Netflix series waiting to happen now.
That is actually. I will contact them later.
That is definitely. For me, little bit different. It wasn't so much so anything major or controversial like that. It was more of like, wow, what the hell is happening? It was a wedding favors, right? So it was a really big Asian wedding in Dubai. I can't say too much because there was an NDA with the people involved. But look, normally wedding favors, you expect something a little bit nice, etc. These guys gave out 20-gram gold little blocks per guest.
Wow.
And that was stamped on with the couple's initial. They had a little logo.
Where was my invite?
I mean, I was behind the decks thinking, am I going to get one?
And did you?
Everyone was on the phone. I swear to you, like after the first dance, everyone was on the phone Googling the price of the spot gold. Like, how much is spot gold today?
Was it on eBay the next day?
Yeah.
I mean, look, being sold.
That goes anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 dirhams per bar, right? 20-gram bar.
How many people were there?
I think about 150, 200. Anywhere between that. And yeah, I can't say who it was, but that's probably the wildest thing. You need to go back home to the UK. Here's a box of Ferrero Rochers.
Yeah, it's very different. It's right. Yeah, the gold wrapper. Yeah, but I find also in the UK there's I don't know what you find, there's fewer and fewer favours. Even here, there's not always favours, whether it's sustainability, whether it's budget.
I think it's more like, I mean, we get brides asking us all the time, should we do favours? And we're like, if you're going to do them, make them purposeful, because otherwise they get left on the table, and I hate 100%. That. So, I mean, if they want to put gold on the table, I'm pretty sure no one's leaving that behind.
Exactly. Wonderful.
Yeah, I think also on because you mentioned it, I think a big part of it is people here, when they do weddings, tend to focus on the actual day itself. Mm-hmm. So they're not too, worried about the favours too much, because they'd rather give people an experience. Worthwhile. I agree. Like, you're coming to the wedding, let's make it worth your time to come, right? Mm-hmm. So they're not, they still give a nice favour, but it's not as high on the list. What's high on the list is actually, will they remember this night?
Yes, all those meaningful moments in the wedding, definitely. So as we mentioned before, there's a lot of kind of British businesses, founders that are looking to the UAE to expand here. I get DMs on Instagram of businesses that want to move here. Mm-hmm. They see what I do and they want a part of that action. What do British couples get completely wrong about planning a wedding here?
Honestly, I would have to say the time frame of
literally about to say that.
Yeah, the time frame here, because for example, I mean, my career started in Europe, right? So maybe if I were to answer, it's not British, but say Western weddings or European weddings, right? The average time in Europe is between 18 months to 2 years, and that's really dictated by the venues, because the venues get so fully booked, because there's not hundreds of thousands of them like there is in Dubai. So the couples kind of have to work to that timeline. So they fully expect that that's the timeline that they have to work to in Dubai. And that is so far from the case. In fact, a venue will not even accept a booking over a year. They will not accept it. And there's some venues that don't accept bookings up with 3 months notice. 3 months notice. So when you have a client come in and they say, oh, I'm planning my wedding for 2027, I say, listen, come back to me in 2026. Because I cannot. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing. Like, and Dubai is so, like, it's such a wild place to be. Like, I love it so much. But like my week is like 3 months in the UK. Like my year is like 5 years in the UK, right? Like time goes so quickly and life just changes. It's just, so they really, really don't understand the timelines that we work with. Like for me, like 6 months is more than enough time. Like come to me at 6 months and if they say, oh, we're a year, are we on time? And I'm like, oh no, it's a year.
You got plenty of time.
You got plenty of time. So definitely, that was what I would say. What would you say?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I was going to say the first thing they need to realise is how time works here. Secondly, learn the actual meaning of inshallah. Right? So, you know what I mean?
That is so true.
They come to you and say, oh yeah, but we spoke to this person and they said this and they said inshallah. Like, yeah, look, it might happen, it might not. You've got to be flexible.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be, I think when you're planning a wedding or a special event in Dubai, you have to be extremely flexible. Things chop and change, not just necessarily from the supplier's fault, but maybe there's a new, you know, we don't have a parliament like the UK does, for example. Things don't go through a voting process and then it becomes the law. Things will just happen overnight. There'll be new regulations introduced and you've got to chop and change, right?
Yeah.
You have to be flexible. So they need to understand that things are they have to be very flexible here. And you have to also take certain things with a pinch of salt.
Good advice. So that's for couples. Now, if a British brand, UK brand or Western brand thinks actually, you know what, we want to expand here or we want to set up a base here, is there any advice you'd give them?
Do it.
Yeah.
The opportunities here are just incredible. I would never be where I am if I truly believe this. If I was in any other country, I truly, truly believe that.
I agree. I'm not just saying that, but honestly, the opportunities you get in the UAE, speaking for myself, I wouldn't have the clients I've had in the past if I was in the UK. You know, you're talking about like being a supplier for government agencies and stuff like that, you know, multinational banks and things like that. You know, those are your clients. And that's happened because I'm here in the right place.
Yeah.
You know? And I think even though there's a lot of people in Dubai in general, people buy people still, and that's the ultimate thing. It doesn't matter how big your brand is, doesn't matter how good your marketing is, doesn't matter if you have a social media presence or not. You don't have to. People are buying people. It's like, I think the village mentality still exists, where if you're really good at what you do, you're delivering, and you're delivering on that promise you gave someone, that word will spread like rapid fire. And the same thing goes for if you screw it up. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, you do.
Right? Same thing goes both ways, right? But that's the power of Dubai.
I really feel, touching on that here, like I've never spent 1 dirham on marketing, ever. Never. Not one. And we're fully booked. And that is because genuinely we've a little bit been in the right place at the right time, met the right people who's connected us to people, and then once you get connected to one person, it's like wildfire. It is like that. As long as you do a great job, people talk and they want to support you and they want to know that you're going to look after and protect whatever it is that you're doing. So with us, whether it's be a couple or whether it be a brand, we're going to protect them, we're going to look after them, we're going to give them, and we're going to deliver. And I think that is, I mean, I've never seen a word of mouth experience anywhere in the world like it is here.
100% agree.
Ever.
100%. And also, people like to collaborate here, right? So if there's I don't know, maybe someone's looking for a certain type of supplier and they maybe haven't worked with somebody who does that, they'll ask another planner, hey, do you know anyone that does this? And it's very open here. They'll ask and they'll get, you know, recommended people. Like, okay, we use these people, use them also. And that goes not just for the wedding industry, but for business in general. People are willing to share your details with others so that you can help them because they received a good experience from you.
I'm actually in a group, in a WhatsApp group with, it's called the leading wedding planners of the UAE or of Dubai, I can't remember which one. And I've just put a message in there today saying, oh, hey guys, I'm looking for this. And I get a reply straight away saying, yeah, this. And that comes from arguably one of my competitors. But because that's how special
Community
it
over
is.
competition.
It's amazing. You don't get that anywhere else in the world, not that I know of.
No.
So.
No, that's true. And the other thing I'd say about Dubai is also the optimism. Anything is possible here. Anything is possible here, and it's positive, and you feel that you can, take on those projects. And I love
100%.
that.
I think that
I feel
also
that.
comes from the leadership that we are lucky to be.
So true.
Under, really, right? As a city, as a whole nation, right? The leaders had this great vision. They turned the desert into what we are seeing today.
It's amazing.
And that's what brings people to Dubai. I think no matter who comes from any part of the world, if you're coming to Dubai, you're coming for one reason, and you have, even if you don't necessarily have the exact same mindset as someone else, there's something in there that is the same as yours.
I agree.
And when you put all of those people together in one big city, it's sort of like a shared mindset, a shared idea, a shared vision, a shared dream, and everyone's just trying to make it.
Love that. Yep, very true, very true. So Dubai is known for last-minute planning. What's the hidden cost of that behaviour, either financially or emotionally?
You're talking from what side? Client side or supplier side?
Well, as a founder, we're all founders here. So what does that give us from the stress, emotional perspective?
I mean, I think in this industry, especially in this industry in Dubai, if you don't work well under stress and pressure, then this industry in this country is not the right place for you, because I definitely have more grey hairs. My sister's 2 years older than me. We're in very different industries, but she also has a big job, but literally I have more grey hairs than her, which I'm very much disgusted about. And I think that if you're not willing, or you don't thrive on that, then really you're in the wrong industry or the wrong place. I think from like a client's point of view, if they're planning something super last minute, then for us it's like, when we're talking about production laborers, we always have to hire more people to get stuff done. We will never say no. If we can do it, we'll do it. But we do have to make sure that we have enough people to be able to pull that job off and do it effectively and properly. So that financially for like my clients is how it would affect them. But it's just like emotionally, it's just stressed. Like give yourself a little bit more time, like 6 months is fine, but don't do it in a week or 2 weeks. Or, we just did a massive corporate event for a brand, and we signed off production 2 weeks before. And it was a big production. It was a big production. And we were we were put under a huge amount of pressure. It's a lot of stress, which was just completely unnecessary. But that's life. I was just thinking, would I change it? And I was like, yes, you would. Don't lie. I would give them a little bit more time. But like I say, if I had to choose between how it is here or planning something with 2 years in advance, I would honestly still choose this. Yeah.
It's definitely one of those places where the impossible is possible, right? So it can be done. Like you can plan something incredible and it'll get done. I think people know it will get done in a week, right? So they take advantage of that. So true. It'll get done. Inshallah,
the confidence it will happen.
It's a confidence, and everyone will get it done. But it's not worth on anybody's part to have those unnecessary grey hairs, unnecessary stress, and lack of sleep to just get. It's much more of an enjoyable experience for everybody, whether you're the client or the suppliers involved, and it means a better job. Not saying that a good job won't get done either way, but it means you can put more attention and care if you had a little bit more lead time. So it's in everyone's interest to just be a bit more realistic with times rather than taking advantage of. Impossible is not a word in Dubai.
Perfect. That's a great way to wrap up our recording. Thank you very much, Hannah. DJ Moochi, thank you very much.
Thanks,
and hopefully lots of food for thought and some insights that we've shared today. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.